What's in the other edits? I'm Karin with Right Now Editing, where we turn good manuscripts into great books.
And I'm Pegg Thomas, multi-award-winning author and editor, and we are two editors for 5 minutes.
I'm gonna wait for just a second because last week we were talking about editing. We thought we could talk about all the editing in 5 minutes. It was not possible. So we're going to talk about the rest of them now. And now I will start the 5 minutes. So if you have questions about substantive, that first round of edits, go back a week. Today we're going to talk about the last 2 to 3 edits, which are line, copy edit, and proofread. The line edit is technically what it is it's going through line by line through the entire manuscript and making sure you're using the exact right words that need to be there. This is the edit that's going to tighten up your writing. I generally let authors know if you have agents or publishers requesting to read your manuscript, you're getting full requests, but it's not clicking and you're not getting any follow through, you're not getting contracts, you might need a line edit, which means your story is there, the characters, the plot, the pacing, but it's not quite clicking. The line edit can help with that because you're going to look and see, am I using the most powerful words in the most powerful way? Be careful when you hire someone to line edit because that term is the most misunderstood and most frequently used editing term. And I've seen it used to describe everything from a substantive edit to a line edit to a copy edit. So if you're hiring a freelance editor for a line edit, make sure you check their description to see that it's that tightening and it's really wordsmithing your document. Because after that's done, you're going to go to the copy edit, which is really, this is where the grammar folks live. If you know someone who is a former English teacher, they would probably love being a copy editor. They look at what we call the pugs. I didn't start this. It didn't start. So you're going to get a couple extra minutes today. The pugs, which are punctuation, usage, grammar, and syntax. They're going to catch all of the theirs, all of the yours. They're going to be able to use the phrases like independent clauses, dangling participles, and all of those good things that you don't remember from grammar. They know what they're talking about. It is different between from fiction to nonfiction. So if you know a nonfiction copy editor, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good fiction copy editor. Because we don't talk the same in dialogue. Characters don't talk the same in dialogue that you want them to in a textbook. So the grammar is going to be a little bit different. So, and I know I sound like I'm talking a lot. Pegg kicked this one over to me because I do a little more work with this. But one of the things she and I have talked about before, Pegg, this line editing with the wordsmithing, did you ever do any of that in your substantive edits?
Yes. Yeah, I do incorporate that in substantive edits a lot.
And that's one of the reasons too why I said it's kind of 3 edits, but sometimes not, because a lot of editors end up doing the line editing. Either it gets sucked into the substantive, or sometimes even copy editors will do it in what they call a heavy copy edit, which means they are looking for punctuation and grammar, but sometimes they'll see a word and think, oh, you know what? If you said this instead, it would be so much more powerful. So, I mean, we have
And
a
I
hard
always
time
put a little
passing
bubble
that.
on the side that says, this is a suggestion. You know, I don't want to change anybody's voice. I don't want to, disrupt anyone's character. But boy, if I see a better word, yeah, I do. I throw it in there because.
Yeah, absolutely. So the line edit, you may not see that as something that another author has gone through. They may have just done a substantive and a copy edit. That you might not see the line editing in there, but it's probably because it's been absorbed into one of those two. And then Pegg, the last line of defense.
Oh, the proofreaders. We need proofreaders. When I'm putting out my story, it goes to my editor, and then it goes through my critique partners, who are all published authors. And they pretty much they're copy and line editing for me. That's what they do. But even after it goes through all those, I pay a proofreader to go through it. The proofreader I use is both an English and a French major, and she knows the language. And because I write colonial America, so I have French terms and stuff. I want somebody who can steer me in the right direction with both languages. So she's perfect for me. And by the time she gets it, she usually only finds 2 to 3 mistakes per chapter because it's been through everybody else. But that's 2 to 3 mistakes per chapter, and she's not infallible. I was telling Karin before we started here, the last novel I put out, one of my early readers, I have an early reader team. They get the book first, they read it, they're ready to post when it releases. She found 3 more errors. So I'm thinking I may have to hire her to be a second proofreader at some point. She's just good, you know. You do your best. Everybody does their best, but sometimes it's almost a compliment when you get that last level, because that tells me the proofreader was so into the story she was forgetting to look for the problems. So I take it as a little bit of a compliment when she misses a few.
And we would all love to publish or to submit perfect manuscripts, but the reality of the situation is it rarely happens. My first novel, I mean, I work as an editor and I wrote it. I had an editor. There was a final editor. Pegg actually read it as a courtesy, and she's like, well, I kind of proofread it as I went. And then I hired another proofreader. So that's 5 sets of eyes on that. 3 days after it was released, a sorority sister sent me a picture of a typo. I mean, we're all professionals. Those things happen, and a lot of it is because very often we're working on computer screens, which it's easier to miss things. There's science behind that. Don't do the best you can. Don't stress about it. But again, you're going to start.
The wonderful thing is, if your story is really good, your readers will forgive the typos. Get your story right first. That's that substantive edit. That's what we talked about last week. If you've missed that video, go back and watch it, because that we can't stress the importance of that enough. Typos are annoying, but they'll forgive you the typos. And we're done.
Well, it's a good thing we did this in 2 weeks and we had a little extra time this week, because that's a lot of information. Hope that helps. And until next week, I'm Karin Beery with Right Now Editing.
And I'm Pegg Thomas, and we'll see you next time.